everybody, thanks so much for joining me on my 5-part series. It's called Minimize Your Closet to Maximize Your Wardrobe. And this series is going to go over how to define and manage your style. So we're going to be doing this, it'll be 5 weeks if you're with me live. If you are catching this later after I've already put it out, then you'll see that there are 5 steps to this, which mean 5 videos. Or if you're on my website, you're going to see the 5 steps listed out kind of in like a teaching format. So depends on how you're watching this, but I'm so excited to go over all of this with you and really deep dive into what I do for my clients and then how you can do it for yourself. If you want to try it out yourself, if you want to see if this is something that you can do to make your closet more manageable, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help you and give you the tools to do that. So you see that I am holding in my hands, and I know because of the light it might be a little hard to see it all, but I actually made a worksheet to go in conjunction with all the information I'm going to tell you. I'm very process oriented, so I thought that this would be an easy way for you to go step by step, either along in the video with me or after you've soaked up all the information that I'm going to give you now, and that way that it'll make it easier for you to do step 1. And step 1 is teaching you how to determine your style. So before we get into your closet and before we go and clean it out and get rid of stuff and keep certain things and shop for new pieces, we can't do that without knowing what your style actually is. And so the first step in order to do that is to look over, so you're going to write this all down here. You're going to go online, whether that's Pinterest, whether that's Google, whatever you're comfortable with. You can go on your favorite stores' websites, find your favorite celebrity, pull pictures of them, whatever it is. But what you want to do is find 10 to 15 different images that you just love. This could be a specific piece that you love in it. This could be the whole outfit itself. Whatever it is, I want you to gather those 10 to 15 images up, and I want you to take a look at those. Now on your worksheet, you're going to mark down what are the similar patterns you see throughout all of those pictures. It might be a handful of them. There might be only a couple patterns. You want to make notes of all of that you notice. You want to note the textures that you see there. So textures could be like wool, or in some styles, like a pop of fur might be something that's of interest to you. Men's, you're going to notice a lot of textures when it comes to suits or pants. And so whether that's a chunkier fabric or just a more simple kind of athletic fabric, whatever you can note from as you're looking at these pictures, that's what you're going to put here. A big one is going to be colors. So mark down, you're probably going to notice that your pictures are going to be having a lot of the similar colors to it. Maybe it's 5 or 10 colors that you notice that is all similar. You want to mark that down here. And then the other 2 things that you need to note are the types of clothing that you're pinning. So is it, a traditional blouse like this for women, or is it a dress for men? Are you looking at a bunch of button downs, or are you gravitating more towards sweaters or polos or basic tees? So mark down what that is and mark down the fit related to that. So for women, we're looking at kind of our 2 options here are going to be looser and longer or tighter and more fitting. For men, your options there are going to either be an athletic, a regular fit, or a slim fit. I'm sure that when you've done shopping, you've kind of noticed that the different ways that they cut fabric, so that's something to look for. It's going to be a bigger play when it comes to women doing the worksheet, but men, there are a couple of variations that you can look at as well. So to review, step 1, gather your style inspiration, gather 10 to 15 photos of things you love, and mark down the similarities on your worksheet. Step 2 in this section is to now take this worksheet and go look at your closet. I want you to look through your closet, pull out the pieces you absolutely love that you would hate to get rid of, and then write down the similarities there. So same thing, we're going to hit your patterns, we're going to hit the textures that you see, we're going to hit the fit, the colors, and the types of clothing. You're going to write all that down just like you did in step 1. But now we're looking at it for what you love from what you have. So the reason that we're doing this is because oftentimes when I'm working with clients, I notice that they pin and they love all this one style of clothing. And so I'm like, okay, I get the style they're going for. But then when it comes time to me coming into their closet, what happens is their closet is not reflective of the style that they love. Now that's not a bad thing by any means. That's very normal because, like I've said before, your style is going to be composed of not just one type of style, but many different styles That's how it becomes unique to you and like your fingerprint. But what you have to do from there is then tweak what pieces do you need. Are the pieces you have just a little influence of what you like and you need to get more of the main pieces that you've pinned? So that's why we need to look at your inspiration and then look and see where your closet is currently at. So that's step 2. Step 3 is going over what I just said. So you've got 2 columns here. I want you to mark down what is missing from your closet that is in the pictures that you saved. And then I want you to write down what is in your closet that is not represented in the pictures that you saved. So that's just kind of an easy way for you to see, okay, I like these things, but I don't have them, and I have these things, but I didn't pin them. It'll just give you a better sense of what you're gravitating towards. The next page we're going to go to is going to be step 4. So step 4 is I created a style quiz. If you are following along on my website, then you will want to either take the men's quiz or the women's quiz at this point, depending on which style you're going for. And if you're not following along, then use the link in this video to get these worksheets, to get the link to the quiz, just to get everything together, because this next step is very important. So you're going to take my style quiz, and what it's going to help you do is, great, you know you like these things and you know you have these things, but how do I even define my style from there? This quiz is going to help you do that. I created it so that as you're clicking on things, they are all indicative of certain styles. And once it adds that total up, you're going to see the main style descriptor for you. And so that is going to help you in creating your formula, which is the next step on the sheet. So you're going to do the quiz. I want you to write down the description of your style. You can just put some highlights because I did write a good amount of things down there. You're going to put down the colors that you see, and those colors you're actually able to see on the website. There's per style, you're going to see a whole little square that shows your color palette, your patterns, and the name of your style. So look for that on the website. I want you to write that all down, and then we're going to move on to step 5, which is going over the actual name and description of your style. And we're doing that through a style formula. And so that style formula is composed of first your main descriptor. That main descriptor you can take right from the quiz. I'm trying to make it as easy for you as possible. So take that main descriptor, that's going to be number 1. Number 2, you want to look at the thing that you also gravitate towards. So sometimes when you do the style quiz, for example, when I do the style quiz, it often tells me preppy. Great. The other part of my style that I gravitate towards is classic. So classic and preppy are kind of my first 2 things. I put classic before I put preppy just because when you're saying that sentence, it makes more sense to say classic prep versus preppy classic. So there, it doesn't really matter, but I just like to have it flow and make sense to me. So you'll take the main descriptor and put it in 1. The other thing you gravitate towards and have a lot of, which you can find those descriptions again on the website, will be 2. And then this is often for women, not so much for men, because men, you don't have as big of a breadth of options in different styles. But for women, you're typically going to have a third influence on your style. And when you have that third influence, it's going to be something that's a touch of the style or a twist of the style. Oftentimes when you're having a touch or a twist, it's glam or bohemian, maybe edgy. It's something that is a very specific and strong style, and it's often a little too much for you to take on as your full style. So that's why you just have a twist of it. A lot of my clients I see they like little bits of bohemian, they like the patterns, or they like some of the colors, but they are by no means bohemian, and so they have a twist of it in their closet. So that's the last thing to think of. Men, like I said, you're looking at 4 different styles really, so it's really going to be a combo of 2. Maybe you have a hint of something else, but as you're going through this worksheet, I'd say that you probably don't have to deal with that part of your formula. So once you do that, you're going to add it all together just like it says on the worksheet. So for example, for me, like I said, it's classic plus preppy plus glam. So my style is classic prep with a touch of glam. It's a touch of glam because I like a little sparkle with my outfits, but I'm not the super flashy Hollywood looking kind of glam. So that's where the touch or the twist comes in. Once you've done that, we've got the whole worksheet filled out. There's one last page, and this is going to help you in step number 2. What you need to do is look at your results. Look at each style that you have described yourself as. In my website, you'll see the different colors that go with that, the different color palettes. So what you want to have filled out is your personal color palette, which your personal color palette has your main colors, your accent colors, and your neutrals. You're going to have the 3 main colors. You'll have about 4 accent colors and typically about 2 neutrals. So what you'll want to do is look for comparisons between your 3 styles and the color palettes I've created. If you're heavy on one style as your main descriptor, then your 3 favorite colors there are going to go in the main section. Another way to look at it is if you're looking at the 3 different styles that you've picked out, find the similar colors between the color palettes. There's a lot of crossover with similar shades and similar colors, so those can go in your main descriptors. In your accent colors, you're going to do the other colors that you like to wear, but you don't have as much of them. So for example, for me, I like green, but I don't have a ton of green in my closet. So that would go in my accent colors. This can also be pulled by looking through your 3 descriptive color palettes. And when you're looking through those, the colors that don't overlap typically end up in the accent colors. It's something that you have 1 or 2 pieces of in your closet that you like, but you wouldn't wear it all the time. Your neutrals can typically be picked out by your pants. So this is the color that you're always pairing with your outfits to tone down the colors or the patterns that you have. Typically, we're looking at black, navy, white, a camel, gray, or denim. That typically is what can be written down here. Once we've done all this and we've gotten the color palette together, the beauty of this is we have direction when we go into step 2, which is figuring out how to cleanse your closet and clean everything out. That's going to be the next step that we're going to go over next week, or like I said, if you're following along, it's been after the time, then you're going to be going over this, you could just skip to that next video or go to the next page on my website. But the next thing we will do is we will cover cleansing your closet, and we will use all this information that we just went over today. So keep these worksheets handy so that we can get your closet in good shape and get you on to mixing and matching and figuring out what you need. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. Shoot me an email, whatever you need to do. I'm here to help, and let me know what your worksheet says. I want to know what your style formula is. I want to know what colors you love, and I want to know what seems to be matching up and where things aren't quite matching up. Thanks so much, guys. I hope you're enjoying this series, and I look forward to giving you more information.